Hey everyone, and welcome to Comic Breakdown. Now today we're going to be diving into Marvel Comics, and this video specifically is going to be covering King in Black Namor issue number 3. Now if you haven't been keeping up with the King in Black line, go ahead and check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It'll get you completely caught up on everything King in Black currently coming out. And issue number 2 of Namor really showed us the swift tide being changed forever, becoming the Black Tide. Now, a young Namor, Dorma, and ATTUMA had set out alongside the swift tide on a mission to retrieve the Unforgotten Stone. But upon reaching the stone, it released some kind of dark energy. And with that being said, let's dive into this issue. So picking up immediately, we see the tide turned. The same swift tide that they had fought alongside. Now, they frantically tried to survive them. Their bodies had mutated, merging with their weapons. But the bloodlust was the most significant change of all. They had truly changed. But of all of them, the one that changed the most was the one they call the Mountain. She had pretty much merged herself with the seafloor itself, drawing from the fires deep below within the Earth's core. And we're seeing anything that stands in their way really has no chance of winning whatsoever. And our heroes try their best to fight these guys off to make them snap out of this. But alas, it is not enough. And the three become surrounded. And as the Black Tide goes to strike them down, goes to kill them, they choose not to. Because as they say, they've been touched by the stone. Maybe not to the extent that the swift tide was, but it's within them. It's taken root. And they may not join them now, but in time, they'll come to see their entire lineage fall. And so they leave them there unconscious. And when they wake up, all they see is pure devastation. The dead lying all around them and a dark cloud lingering over. Now they know that the Unforgotten Stone is still in there. And if they could bring it back, maybe the Court of Wizards could fix it. Could fix all of this somehow. And this is when ATTUMA, he suggests that he's going to run in there and do this, but Namor doesn't let him. Like, these people are too important and too significant to just throw into this thing and have them come out exactly like the swift tide did. And while they're sitting here arguing over all this, Ambrose decides that he's going to swim his way in, and it took him, and began to tear him apart. And obviously they're all very distraught about this. You know, Ambrose didn't know the threat that was within there. It just knew that they wanted something out of there, and he was going to go retrieve it. And this is when ATTUMA says that he's no longer going to sit and mourn. If they're to carry the tale, then they'll do it. And this is when he builds a makeshift ship relatively quick. And they figure out exactly what's going to pull this. They suggest having it pulled by whales, but they don't think that it would be able to have the stamina and speed to be able to make it ahead of the Black Tide. And so this is where Namor says that he's going to do it. And maybe a part of ego and pride, but they travel for days. And Namor is unwavering. They swim past the farm village that they had once passed. And now they just see skeletons. And the few sole survivors are terrified of them. Because the last time they were through there, they were with the swift tide, which now had come back and massacred most of the village. And as the chasm people are celebrating, they see a dark mist come through. And this is when the Black Tide attacks. And they show no mercy. And they could all feel it. Though they were far enough away that it wasn't so pressing, it felt more like a nightmare. Chills going down their spine. Because at the end of the day, they're all connected. Connected through whatever the stone released. But the chasm people have a secret weapon. They have their sea dragon. And then we pick up nearly a day later. Our three heroes have arrived only to see everything in turmoil. Bodies floating and a skeleton remains of the sea dragon. And we are just seeing now the pure devastation left behind in the wake of the Black Tide. And ATTUMA, he blames Atlantis because Atlantis sent them on this mission, sent them to retrieve this stone. And so for the death of his people, he is holding Atlantis responsible. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Now, I know a lot of people have been excited seeing a lot of Namor lately, and it's a really awesome story. You know, we're getting a lot of backstory on past history. Now, I'm not hugely familiar when it comes to Namor lore, but it's seeming more and more like the Black Tide is actually infected maybe with a rogue symbiotes or something of that nature that aren't necessarily connected to the hive mind, which could possibly give him the upper hand if he does have a little bit of this inside of him, but he's able to control and may be able to help him not be controlled or taken over by the hive mind. Now, there's still 2 issues left, so there could be a lot more story. This is obviously all theoretical, but yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you have not yet, please do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video. If you want to support the channel in another way, I have a link down to my Patreon in the description. Tons of exclusives. You can go check that out, find out what kind of merch we have that's exclusive to Patreon fans only. You can also check out Comic Breakdown and More podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. We drop new episodes every Friday, so be sure to check that out. And until the next video,